Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys. Let me get a sip of my water first. My daily dose of aspartame. Give you guys a forearm shot. Forearm gains, on point. All right, let's talk about Jeff Nippard. Somebody sent me a video. Actually, I believe they sent it through Instagram. They're like, what do you think of this? Jeff is defending Sam's training, and is Jeff right? It's a good question. I actually enjoy a little bit of banter back and forth with Jeff. Out of all the fitness personalities, the reason being, he'll at least discuss stuff with you rationally. Like any other perspective you have on Jeff, no matter what you think of the guy, I think everyone who's interacted with him will admit he will discuss this stuff with you rationally, intellectually, and man to man. So I always give credit for that. I'm going to have a little bit of good and bad to say here, and I want it to be in the context of I understand where he's coming from, and he's not wrong, but I don't like a certain part of this. So I want to get out of the way that I will acknowledge that Jeff is very well educated in training. He has a great deal of experience training under the barbell, okay? And he has gotten pretty good results overall. Like, I don't think anyone can deny he's built a pretty good amount of size and strength over the years. He has results. Unlike a lot of the people out there who do argue in things, they're either small and weak or whatever, and no one cares. Jeff has actually put his money where his mouth is, so to speak. So, give credit where credit is due. So let's talk about this. Is he right about some of the data on lengthened position partials? Yes, and this is something I've been saying a long time. A lot of people are like, man, you were talking about this like 5 years ago. Yep, yes, I was. Stretch positions, as long as there isn't some sort of active insufficiency, and usually if we're using free weights, it's usually going to be good. Certain machines and stuff can create it. Some other exercises can, but usually when we're dealing with weights, we don't usually have active insufficiency at lengthened positions. And lengthened positions means when the muscle is stretched. In other words, triceps, when this is stretching the tricep, right? It's not at the lockout. You guys get the idea. Quads, when your knee is fully bent, you're in the lengthened position. So on and so forth. When the muscle is stretched under tension. And the reason there's actually causation here. It's not just, hey, we're getting some studies showing that these are pretty good for hypertrophy. In some cases, just as good. I don't necessarily buy the evidence that it's better than full range of motion on some of the studies, because there's very little data to support that. Now, what we are seeing, though, is there's pretty good data saying that, hey, half reps done into the stretch position, as long as you're hitting that deep stretch, is possibly equal to full range of motion. And when people hear, they're like, well, that can't be right. And I kind of have the same feeling, because there are going to be muscle fibers that are only going to be used at certain joint angles, okay? And we need to be clear with that. There may be a few fibers you're missing, but by and large, the majority of the data tends to suggest lengthened positions give most of our muscle growth. And we know why that is. There's a good explanation for that, and that's simply because we know mechanical tension is the largest driver of hypertrophy. It's not volume to the degree that people think it is. It is mechanical tension, and volume can be used to achieve more mechanical tension at the fiber level. But when it comes to tension placed on the muscle, lengthened positions usually put us into a disadvantaged position. Okay? The muscle is in a disadvantaged position mechanically, therefore it is forced to work harder. Therefore, we have the potential for the most muscle fiber recruitment, because the muscle is being disadvantaged. The muscles work way, way, way harder at those final 10 degrees of joint angle than they do just about anywhere else. It's not in the contracted position. It's when they're stretched. And we've always noticed that. So we're always like, man, people who stretch on a lot of stuff get bigger muscles. Example, people who squat really deep tend to have their quads grow faster. People who do deficit deadlifts, sometimes they get better hamstrings and stuff than people who, are doing the normal ones. Stands to reason. People who bench and pause on their chest, sometimes people who use dumbbells who go deeper, they get better chest development. It's been noted over time. The stretch positions are worth a lot. He's not wrong there. Now, here's where I'm going to call Jeff out. This is where we're going to disagree. Jeff, what in the hell does Sam have to do with this? Sam is not doing that. In the videos that you linked, I'm looking at the videos and I've watched Sam train a little bit. Sam does not do lengthened position partials. He does mid-range partials. Sam does not stretch his muscles. That is why people are saying, hey, his training is junk. This is the product of, hey, I just use a ton of gear, guys. I use 5 grams of gear and a bunch of growth and insulin. That's what you are seeing. And I've done videos explaining that. And I guess my question for Jeff is, why do we need to be dishonest about what Sam is doing to highlight a point? I get what you're saying as far as highlighting the point, and you're not wrong. I mean, if he did not use salmon as an example, and he simply stated the data, I would kind of nod to Jeff and go, yeah, I think you're largely right here. No major disagreement from me. If you look at compare the scientific literature with what we have watched in coaching circles and in the lifting world for 50, 60, 70 years, we look at the reasons why, not just saying, hey, this is what it shows, but do we know why it's doing it? Yeah, there's pretty good explanation. There's a good biological explanation as to why it happens. We see it happen in the real world, and they're replicating it in the lab. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, that's kind of hard to argue with. Valid point. I'm going to give a win to Jeff on that one. The problem is using Sam, and it's like, Jeff, I love you, bro, but I think that you're supporting Sam purely for the clout because he's so popular. You're like, oh, let me just agree and use Sam. When you know you have enormous amounts of training experience. You personally know, and I hope I'll get you to admit to this. You know that every single clip that you saw, he did not go into a lengthened position. They were all mid-range partials. He does not touch his chest on the incline. He stops short. All that rowing, all those lat pull downs you showed, he absolutely did not stretch his lats. He did not go into lengthened positions. Even his preacher curls everything is partials. He doesn't go into lengthened positions. They're not short nor lengthened position partials. They're mid-range. I don't think Sam knows what a full range of motion exercise looked like if it walked up and slapped him in the face. Okay? If a full range of motion exercise walked up and slapped the chocolate milk out of Sam's mouth, reducing his chances of developing diabetes with all that slim he'd be pinning, he wouldn't even know. I don't think he's ever even seen a full range of motion exercise at any point in his entire life. And Jeff, watching it, you know damn well he's not going into lengthened positions. He is not stretching any of those muscles. They're all right in the middle. He's just skipping all of it. But he's also in a position where it's like, who cares if it's inferior growth? I can just add another gram a week to my stack. And I'll grow anyways. Right? Just up the dose, bro. Boston Lloyd style. You're going to be joining him. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.